What's up, y'all? I'm PC McCray. You can call me P.
Hey y'all, my name is Shaun the Head. You can call me Shaun the Head. And this is the Everything Has Changed podcast.
From two college roommates to 40-something adults, life has been lifing and we want to talk about it.
We are the new adults, y'all.
How did that happen?
I don't know, P, but we got to talk about it.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Hey, Shaun, what up?
Hey, P.
Hey, girl. Back at it again. Hello, friend. Hello, world.
Hey, guys. We're here. We showed up. We're here. Showed up this week.
I want to say thank you to all the people who have been so kind with comments about my transplant story.
Yeah.
Thank you all for just your continued support and prayers and just your support. That means a lot to both of us. And so I really wanted to start there, getting that story out of there. And a lot of people didn't know a
the
lot
details,
about
right?
that. Even some of my family members. Yeah.
Oh,
They were
really?
like, I had no idea. Because I think,
There's never like a good time. Well, not gonna say it's never a good time to talk about it, but then once you're out of it, then it's like, well, do I bring it back up? Do I ask? You know or you kind of just want to. It's. It, I can understand how it might be kind of either a difficult thing to approach or just an awkward thing if you have questions. So I can understand that. So I'm so glad you
they
spoke
were
on
just
it,
happy I
'cause
was alive.
girl, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that was it. So forget the questions. We're just glad you're alive. But yeah, that was awesome. And thank you all for that.
yeah. When you're in it and people see, that you're making it through and you get to the other side, there's really no way for people to know everything that you've gone through to get there, you know? So,
Right.
yeah, that was probably revealing. I'm so glad you said it. I'm so glad you told your story. And there's still more to tell, too, I know.
There is. I thought of some
Yeah,
stuff and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I should have
yeah,
said this or I could have said that. It'll come.
yeah.
It'll come.
So what's on your mind today, P? What do we got to talk about today?
Well, I saw something interesting and it was about friendship breakups and how to recover from them. And as adults,
Okay.
friendship breakups can be difficult because people come
Nasty.
and go in your life, even your partners. But the good friends who know your secrets and they may know those skeletons in the closet.
Mhm.
And when that relationship falls apart, it could really feel like a death in a sense.
Oh, for sure,
And
especially
either
as an
you
adult.
come to terms. Yeah. Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting as we get older and just pay attention to our relationships. You and I met in 2000 and here we are still
Yep.
rocking.
Yep.
But many people don't have those relationships. And lit doesn't always translate to being super tight too. You could meet somebody 2 years ago and that's you all are super tight and something
Yeah.
happens. How about, has anything like that happened to you?
Girl, yes. And then, but because also there's a thing with the length of time too. You gotta think about how long you've known someone and the kind of amount of changes that you go through, just depending on where that time frame fell. So if you were kids when you started becoming friends, and now you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, things clearly have changed and or
Yes.
evolved, grown, which is fine. But sometimes you don't grow together. Sometimes you grow apart, or sometimes they looking at you and expecting you to react a certain way that you would have reacted way back when. So that point about length of time doesn't matter is so true because that could go both ways. Like it could be good or bad depending on
Mhm.
how long you've been friends. But no, I definitely friendship breakups are hard. I don't know how it is for guys. Do guys have friendship breakups? I don't know, but lady
That's a
friendship
good
breakups,
question.
that's it's a hard one. I know,
It's tough.
it's tough. I have so let's see. Currently, I have 3 best friends, but which okay, first of all, I know it sounds like a lot because you always hear keep a really tight, small circle or whatever. But the way you think about it, okay, that could be like my inner circle, I guess, like 3 best friends, and then you kind of
Mhm.
move out. Um, but for me, and I don't know if this is even a thing. This is actually like probably the first time I'm saying this out loud, so just follow me here. But for
Gotcha.
me, once I realized how important friendships were to me, or when I really realized how important friendships were to me, was after I felt like I didn't have anybody. So like after mommy died, again, I was 31 when she died. And as time went on, like over the past decade, it just felt like not having that kind of security of that kind of foundation of a relationship at one point made me feel like I was lacking in some way because I didn't have like a stable ground. But then when you're in your adult years and all your friends are presumably adult, they can give you a different kind of foundation. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, and I'm not saying you gotta lean on your friends for stuff you would lean on your parents for, but since the dynamic of the friendship changes, I think it allows you to get some footing. I don't know. I actually don't know how to explain it, but I realized that I put more stock into my friendships now. I have been told though before that I might be a bit
Yes.
anal about friendship. And you know what? Yes, more than likely true because I can see that. Like how people give you criticism and then you have to look at yourself and see, is this a valid criticism or is it I think it's probably a
Yes.
valid criticism of me, at least definitely at that point in time, like about how serious I take friendship. And so, do you think that's a thing, P? Like, can you take friendship too seriously? I think I have for sure
Um,
when I went back and thought on it.
well, what type of boundaries or restrictions are you putting or
Oh, that's a good
pressures are you
question.
putting on the friendships that make it seem like you are anal?
That's a good question. Now again, this was not recent, but I
Mhm.
remember that stuck with me because I was like, that's probably true. The word pressure was good that you said because I think what it was in that time, it was like you put too much pressure on people to be your friend, if that makes sense. And maybe I did. I don't feel that way now, though. I don't feel that way now, but
Mhm.
maybe back then for like the time period I'm thinking of. But I have 3 best friends, and I've already prefaced it with my. I might sound like a lot because I think people also think like women don't. I think have a lot of friends because maybe a lot of people aren't trustworthy or backstab, whatever the case. But
Yeah.
I will counter that with this. My oldest friend I met when I was 1 years old, and she's still my best
Mhm.
friend. So take that, okay? Like that's not to be frowned on. We met when we were 1, and we were best friends as like toddlers. And then in elementary school, I really, for some reason, totally forgot that I knew this person. And our
Uh-oh,
moms
see?
saw each No, it was like and
You
then
were a
you
baby.
move away,
Yeah.
you go to school. And so then we're like 10, 11, and our moms see each other at like a parent teacher meeting or something. They saw each other. And then my mom had to tell me, "Oh, I think it was an honor club induction ceremony." And my mom was like, "You went to school with her?" And I was like, "I did." Because at this point we was in the same like, because we were both in Magnet, we came up in Magnet for light
Mhm.
achievers. That's what they call it here in Georgia. At least they did. And mommy was like, "Yeah, she was. That was your friend. Like that was your best friend." And I'm like, "What? We're talk to each other now." That was, and not in a bad way. We just were not. We didn't
Yeah.
hang out in the same circle. I had no idea. Now this girl, she still to this day can tell you something about people we went to preschool with. So she knew. I had no idea. And so,
That's so
as we
funny.
went forward, I want to say probably like ninth grade is when actually when we became best friends, and that's been my best friend. We did fall out at one point during college, but we got back together. Okay, it's fine. But that's my oldest
Yeah.
friend, and that's my best friend. Like that's that's my best friend. Met her at one. Then the other two I met in high school at age like 16 and 17. And so those are them, you know? So I've had other best friends. I've had like two other best friends, but they're not still my best friends, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, but those three are my best friends, and I have known them since I was literally a toddler and a child. That's how long I've known them. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's fine. And then our friend, when you take a ring out from that, our friend group is all it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 of us all together, and we all went to like high school and college together. So
Hmm.
that's that. But every person who's been a best friend of mine, basically, I've fallen out with at one point in time, and we've come back together, all except for one. What do you think
Well,
statistically? Is that
okay.
good or not?
I'm curious as to what is causing the fallout. As you come back together, so that's good. But is that pressure? Has each one stated that it was some type of pressure that you were putting on them on the friendship?
No, that was one person, and she wasn't even talking about our friendship. She was talking about my friendship with somebody else. So,
Okay. Okay.
no, but it's like over the course of kids. When we did fall out, we was like in high school and college age. Since then, no. Like if I've fallen out with you since then, we're actually, not probably in each other's lives anymore. But
What help me understand, like, is it just growing apart or is it a fallout? Did something happen where y'all are like, nah, we're not cool no more? Because growing apart
yes,
is one thing. So
no,
something happened.
no, not growing apart.
Okay. So something happened
Yeah, like
that
an
caused.
argument, and yeah.
Okay.
But this is two. So this is basically like two of the three. But it happened in high school and college. Well, not college. We didn't go to the same school, but college age. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. So
We're
when you
still
growing up,
young and dumb.
people, yeah, young, dumb, and that's the thing. And that makes sense too. When you coming back together, it's like we were kids. It's
Yeah.
it's weird. But it, you're just growing up, and girls, sometimes butt heads, and it's just school stuff,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. But it's interesting because when I think back, I'm like, yeah, all this stuff was like no later than 20s, like mid 20s at the latest. Like and then we was back cool. So that's why I said we fell
You
out
grow
after
up.
that. Then yeah, that's a different thing. What about you, P?
Yeah. I would say same. I have one of my closest friends, and you know her, Barb. We
Ah,
have pictures together
yes.
in diapers. Like we've been in each other's lives because our mothers were friends. And I will say my greatest example of what friendship and womanhood is or was from my mother and her friends. To this
Mm-hmm.
day, they still check on me and dad, even though she's gone. And I still check on them because I'm like, I know your girl would want me to check on you on your birthday. So
Yes.
that that foundation is what I have with when I have my friendships. Now, I'll say this. I know a lot of people.
You sure
We
do,
went to
girl.
fam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Delta. It's the Delta, the chapter here in my city is Tallahassee. I know a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, you have the rings of friendship circles,
Yeah. Yeah.
and my tight that knows where the bodies are buried. It's only like 3 people,
Yeah.
but each one has their place within my world and our world. And because like she has kids, and so especially one of my best friend, we had to go through that as we grow up. We would talk on the phone to like 1 o'clock in the morning, just BSing, just whatever. And then
Yes.
she got a boyfriend. And so it's like, okay, girl, with your boo. So we're gonna kill. We had to figure that out. And then they got married. And that's like, okay, so I can't call you like at midnight no more because, so you had to adjust to that. And
Yeah.
then she had a baby. And so you have to adjust to that. And then another baby. So you have, first of all, your moms, y'all can have a whole conversation and the kid is just in the background just making all this noise. And I guess for people like, I'm like, girl, do you need to call me back? Because she's like, no, they're fine. So yeah, tell me about what happened. How was your date last night? Mm-mm, mm-mm. Meanwhile, the baby like, Mama, hey,
No,
A,
no, you
B, C, D, E, F. Oh,
exactly.
okay.
It's so
I'll call
accurate.
you back, friend. I'll call you back. I'll call you back. But I haven't, as we've grown into our womanhood, I would say some of my relationships have grown stronger. And as they've grown or different people have grown, we've had things that brought us together that in common. So I got closer with some people just as we've gotten older. The only time, saying all that to say, there's only one person that I'm like, God bless. We're done. Never again.
Mm.
You have no access to my life at
Mm.
all. And for me to say that,
Yeah,
you know
cause
me,
I'm like, I don't, I
to
don't
completely
understand.
be like, nah, we ain't. Just uh, total disrespect, disregard. And there's no recovery when you try me like that.
Was there?
It's just
Did anyone try a recovery or
oh, absolutely.
okay,
Several times she has.
you or the? Oh,
And
she has, and you was it?
she
It was
has.
that bad that you was like,
Ice cold.
nah. Oh wow.
Nah, ice
Yeah,
cold.
I understand, P. You're such a that don't even. No, I was about to say that don't even sound like you, but that doesn't make sense. Cause you're basically like,
Right.
no boundary with when you cross this kind of boundary, God bless.
It's a wrap.
Now,
God
how was
bless.
this a
I
long
mean,
term friendship,
it was
or was it a deep was it a substantial friendship in your life, or substantial relationship in your life?
substantial,
Yeah, yeah.
substantial relationship in my life. Helped me out when I wasn't able to work, like got me
Um,
work so that I
mhm,
was able to make some type of income in the nightlife scene.
mhm,
But just I don't know what was going through her mind. It actually alienated most of the people in her life
mm.
at that time. Just took a torch to everybody.
Oh man.
And I think there was a redemption tour of some sort in her trying to come back.
Mhm.
And certain people, absolutely, they have different ties to her. For me, it's a no. It's a God
Right.
bless. And
Yeah.
I keep it moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the
There's a way
important
you
thing is
handle.
just that you're good with the decision you made.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Hmm. The
man.
other time, I will say this. Another time, I not a falling out, but like a ghosting. A
Mm,
friend ghosted me. She was going through something, and we
mhm,
later reconnected. And when
mhm,
she explained what she was going through, it was like,
mhm,
okay. And I saw the sign. I was like, okay. It doesn't excuse the behavior, like how we
mhm.
missed those years off of something that wasn't understood. But once she got through what she had to go through on the
Yeah,
other side of it, she then saw. So I welcomed that back.
yeah.
Welcome that with open arms.
You just never know what another person is going through, and you definitely ain't gonna know if they don't
Yeah.
tell you though. So like if they
Right.
if
Yeah.
if if your relationship with them is going through something, it's on shaky ground because there's something else going on. It's like no way for you to know that unless they tell you, and then I guess then it becomes okay. Hopefully you tell somebody before the time run out. I guess because if not, you may have moved on or evolved out of even the person that you were. Because we all gonna keep growing in some way,
Yeah.
evolving in some way. You just never know. Who's gonna end up there with you. Sometimes it is a shock to the system when you look up and see maybe certain people didn't make it,
Yeah.
there with you, but
And
everybody ain't
I'm
supposed to.
they're not. And I'm super blessed that my cousin, my family is like my best friend.
Mhm.
So it's like a built-in relationship. We grew up together.
Mhm.
And so that's always helpful too. And me as an only child, friendship mattered to me.
Yes,
Because when
that's a good point.
if I had, first of all, mama didn't play no games. There were only about maybe 3 or 4 places she would let me stay over the night.
Right. Mhm.
Maybe.
Mhm.
You can go to our house, but there wasn't too many places she was gonna let me go. And so I needed that. I wanted friends because I'm only child.
Yes,
My company when I was by myself, my best friends was music, friend,
of course it was. Yeah,
records,
yeah.
tapes, cassette tapes, listening to the radio, trying to record a song, knowing when it's about to come on. These kids don't know nothing about that now. Having to
No,
stop
mm-mm.
the
But
track and all
I ain't
that
even
stuff.
gonna tell you the songs that
But
I done
me,
learned the words to that was too young to learn the
oh,
words, but we was in that phase of
exactly.
recording the radio or recording the
It was
CDs we weren't supposed to
music.
listen to. Yeah. That Kilo Ali.
Yes.
Know that
Yes.
thing from front to back, and I should
Girl.
not, but I do.
Okay.
But I do.
What? I knew every lyric to Little Kim's Hardcore when it first came out.
Yes, me
Had no and how we got it, the Columbia House, I don't know how they didn't come for us
too. Yeah.
yet by now. How did that happen? How did that happen? I still that need I don't know. Somebody needs to do a documentary on that because yeah, had the Little Kim Hardcore. When did that album come out?
Ninth
Let me
grade.
see.
We was in the ninth grade when that thing came
Really?
out. Yes. I you know how
Every
like
lyric. Every
yeah,
lyric.
I can literally recall sitting in ninth grade gym on the stage in the gym where somebody had brought their little boom box and we had popped it in so we could get our words together because we was all learning to recite them for no good reason at all. Mm-mm, mm, mm, mm,
96.
mm, mm.
And I want to say,
Yep,
let me see,
96.
96 November. So yeah, we were just in the
Mm.
ninth grade.
Yep.
Hey, friends, we're just getting this podcast going and we're so thankful for your support. If you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode or when we drop some of the special things we've got coming, head on over to everythinhaschangedpodcast.com and drop us your email so you can stay locked in. Cool? Cool.
Wow.
Yep.
Still, no business listening
No
to
business. Why we was
any of
only
that.
listening to all the wrong songs. Getting
All the wrong stuff.
all the wrong songs.
All of it.
That makes sense though, P, that music,
But
because that was cooler. You were cooler
it was
than
my
me.
friend.
My friends were stuffed animals, and we had a
That's
set of
okay.
encyclopedias. So I would pull out for today's lesson, and I would pull out the e-book
Oh,
and I would pick a book out the World Book Encyclopedia. I would pick a word to teach my stuffed animal, and I wasn't even the
that
only
is
child.
so cute.
I thought I said I just knew I was gonna be a teacher. I had a little 3-ring binder with the
Oh.
Scantron sheet in it. You know how you write mark off everybody's name.
Did you name your bears, your
I'm
stuffed animal?
sure
They
I
had
did.
names, didn't
I'm
they?
sure I did. I don't
You
remember
did.
them now. But I definitely they would make like a semicircle around me, and I was the teacher, and the world book was my was my IP. That's what I would be teaching.
Oh my God, that is
I told
so
you, girl.
cute.
My brother is 13 years older than me, so I was the only child essentially because he was gone by
Yeah.
the time I can remember. He was up out the house, and it was just me and mommy. But so you were much cooler than me. I didn't get into music like that. I don't think till junior high, and I was definitely all in like by ninth grade. You were cooler than me, P.
Oh man. Well, my parents were music people. Mom sang in the choir, and dad had records, and would
Mm-hmm.
just that Saturday cleaning up. That was a real thing.
Yep.
Music was
Yep.
playing while she was cooking, and so she's singing songs. So music was definitely embedded in my life. But those are my friends.
Yeah.
Music, all kinds of stuff, and then my
That
real friends
explains a lot.
who
Yeah,
listen to music.
that explains a lot. I grew up dancing, so I also had like a dance set of friends, if that makes sense, because I spent so much time outside of school
Yes.
with dances, and we would compete. So we would be all
Yeah.
throughout the week after school, go to the dance studio for 2-3 hours, and so I had a group of friends there. So I guess that might be where more of it wasn't music, but maybe I was more creative on that side, with the dancing aspect of it. But I even had a group of friends where it was 4 of us. So we all went and got a tattoo. We all got the same tattoo.
Oh. Uh-oh. Do y'all still talk?
Your face.
Do y'all still talk to each other?
Yeah, yes and no. So, one of the 4 was one of my best friends that I was talking about, who we are
Okay.
not friends any longer. No ill will, but that's
Right.
not my best friend anymore. We're not in each other's lives. But the other 2, I still keep in contact with. We all
Yeah.
we all got this here little
She's
star.
showing me her tattoo,
Yeah.
listeners. Oh, you all have a star in the
It's
same
yeah.
place?
No,
On your
we all got
shoulder like that?
different places. That's just where I got mine.
Okay.
But we all got the one star. But the other 2 I keep in contact with for sure. But I did make it, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but when the friendship broke up, I didn't want it to be awkward for the other 2.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I made a decision to just kind of step back so that things wouldn't be awkward, so that they could, however they wanted to handle it, because I was very clear this is going to be some awkward shit. We were best friends, but also I was also clear that she was like, you know how sometimes in groups you have like a center? Like there's a
Yes.
person that she was the center of that group.
Yeah.
So, and I was not unaware of that. So I was like, I really didn't want it to be awkward for the other 2 because they didn't have nothing to do with nothing. So I still wanted to be their friend, but I didn't want them to feel awkward, like, oh, I have to choose, or like, no, you don't have to choose. She's the center of the group. So that relationship, that's not going away. So I was like, I'll step back and, reach out important days and things. And then we would have like lunch dates and dinner dates, just us or whatever. But I also wasn't trying to be, because, sometimes things happen and people be like, well, you have to pick a side, or they trying to pull and force
Right.
and I didn't want that at all. I didn't want any of it, but I, was just trying to be a grown up about it. I do sometimes wonder though, like if that was not, I don't even know how else I would have handled it, but I just didn't want them to feel awkward. And so I was like, well, I'll do this. I will be the one, I'll step over here to the side and they can come say, hey, when they want to. And in that way, I distinctly was like, I don't want to put no pressure on them. So, of course, everybody's an adult. People can make their own decisions. So that's why I was like, I don't know if that was even the right thing to do.
Right.
I was just really concerned with them and how they would feel about the whole thing and it being awkward for them. I don't know if I should have been or should not have been, but I was at the time. And so that was how I chose to handle it. And I think there was a couple times where they wanted to fix things. And then I think after a certain
Yeah.
amount of time, it was just like, all right, that they understood that wasn't going to happen. So then I just make sure, I reach out to them and they reach out to me, and people have had birthdays and babies and all that. And so and I'm still always invited. So I show up when I can. So, but yeah, it can be really awkward, especially when it's a group and everybody's not
Yeah.
breaking up. It's just the one.
Exactly. I was about to say that's tough when it's a group thing where you're all, or I also hear about when people get jealous. Like my best friend, she has other friends. That's okay. Like
Okay.
I know my place. I know what we have, our relationship, our friendship. It's okay if she has other people in her life that she also calls friends. Like,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of people that have an issue with that. Why she talking to my best friend? What you doing talking to my best friend? Who is that? What you with? Are y'all see? Come on, come on, come
I
on.
mean, but
Don't.
maybe when the groups of friends are so dramatically different, maybe is that a thing more so then? Because it's like if I'm your best friend and I'm this type of person, and then you got another so-called best friend over there, and it's a whole
Right.
different type. I don't really know how it goes because all three of we are all in the same friend group, so we've all known each other
So,
all forever. So
but that's that. I would say categories. That category of friendship, you all have known each other high school in diapers.
yeah,
Then you and I met in college. And
yeah,
while we don't talk every day, or we didn't talk every day, there was still that connection that we had.
hmm
Or as you grow into adulthood and womanhood, they're just different categories of friendships to me.
no, you're absolutely right. And another thing that I'm curious to know if this has happened to you because
What's
you've
that?
been through a lot.
Yeah.
I have lost friends now, not best friends, not for real best friends. And then when I say lost, I don't even know if they know we've lost friendship. But there have been people that I can distinctly see there was a pull away from them when I started going through things. Either things that they weren't going through, so they couldn't connect, like what they couldn't understand. It could be all these things, which I actually have a lot of grace for because the older I get, the more I'm like, this stuff will take you out. So what do you think it'll do to people around you who want to connect with
Hello?
you, but they can't really find a way in? Um, but then also some people, it just felt like, and of course, I don't know if this is true or not, but it felt like they pulled away when I wasn't able to live the same way I was living, the same kind of,
Hmm.
and not in a bad way, but it's like when I got granny. My entire
Yeah. You were
social whatever
freer.
shit. Yeah, I was absolutely freer before. Like immediately, I couldn't do
Yeah.
things immediately,
Yeah.
and so I wasn't able to travel, and I wasn't able to go to homecoming, and I wasn't able to go um just to wherever. And so it seems like there are a couple people I can think of specifically where it's like they are still, able to be out here, uh, living and being having freeness. And my non
Right.
freeness, for lack of a better phrase, did not help our relationship because I wasn't able to show up to things. So then I stopped getting, they stopped extending invitations and things, and I noticed
Yeah.
that. And for certain situations, I'm like, it really feels like when I started to go through some really heavy, bad stuff, it was, I don't know if I looked at as like a party pooper or what. I, I don't know what it was to them, and honestly, I haven't even asked because for some people, it's just like, it is what it is. But it was a clear, like pulling away. Um, and I wonder, has that happened to you?
And you were in your, I'll answer the question, but you were in
Right.
your early 30s is when you got Granny, or late 20s?
Mommy died 31, so I got Granny when I was 32.
Yeah. So we were still out in the streets, like really
Yeah,
cutting up, like having a good time, is going
yeah,
out and, like
yeah,
you said, travel. But for me, sort of that freedom, I was fighting for my life. So
yep, yep,
yeah, I could not go to a lot of things, and um there was, I wouldn't say a pull away, but there was a distinct, they would only invite me to things that they thinking of me in my situation. Like they're not going to invite me to a shot party. Like we just taking shots all
yep,
night. Like
yep,
I'm not going to be invited to that.
yep.
And that's okay.
Totally
I
fine.
wasn't going to be invited to that. We could come over. You could come over. We can go watch Scandal. We can go to the movies, those type of things. So I think I acknowledged the difference in me. But Shaun, like you said, some people, if you haven't gone through things,
Right.
that connection, there's a disconnect that they don't even know that they don't even know. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
finding.
But it's hard too because you can't, judge people for not having, like that don't have nothing to do with them, what the things that they've been through
Right.
or not been through. And everybody's gonna go through certain things at a certain time. Some people just earlier than before. So
Hmm.
it's like I don't have judgment around that, especially because I had a lot of people around that didn't pull away
Pull
though,
away.
just
Yeah.
because they didn't understand what I was going through. But I had
Hmm.
people that did, and I noticed that. I did. But also on the other side, I can't help the stuff that's happening to me either. I'm just trying to live, and not,
Right.
in a separate way. You were literally trying to live. I was trying to keep my head above water while I was trying to hold and carry all this stuff that it felt like it was too early for me to be trying to hold and carry.
It's a
But I
lot.
always did try
It's
to
a
be the
lot.
same to friends and stuff, and but I did notice that too, and I was just like, sometimes when I think about it, it makes me sad, but I just don't think about that much anymore because it's a lot more other pressing stuff. Okay.
You know what? You just made me think of something though. There were people that later, once I got on the other side, they explained I couldn't see you like that. Like they couldn't
Oh.
handle seeing me physically change and be sick, and they didn't know what to
Mm,
say or what to do. And their only
mm,
way to protect themselves was to pull away. So I do, a couple of people come to mind that specifically was like, I didn't know what to do.
that
I
might
just knew
also
my
too
friend was going through some stuff.
that might also too have to do with age too, because like think about now, if people are in their 40s now and then something like that happened to somebody now, they might handle it a little different. They
Yeah,
might be able to hold it a little bit more better, because of life and
absolutely.
things have happened. So some of that too might just even be the age, you know,
Yeah,
thing.
because what?
So
I was 28, 28, 29, 30. That's, you're still
mhm.
jumping, you still,
Nah,
so you, yeah, you made me think of that. Wow. I'll say now
Mhm.
I'm an adult. My friendships and relationships have had to, I know I have changed. My
Do
mother's
I
death
change?
changed me.
Mm,
I know
yes.
that everything has changed. I am not the same person as I was. And I'm trying to figure that part out, figure me out. She's
Mhm.
lived without me before.
Yeah.
I ain't
Yep.
left without her.
Not a day. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out here just floating. And you know what I feel like? I feel like when I was a little girl, me and mom went shopping and she was in Dillard's and, remember KB toy store or the toy stores that would be like right outside. So
Yeah.
I snuck away.
Oh, I knew
She
you
was
was gonna
looking at
say
some
it.
dresses or something. I
Mm.
snuck away and went to the toy store real quick.
Lord have
And
mercy.
I was like, well,
Real quick.
she's distracted by clothes. So I was like, oh, I should probably get back to where she was. So I went back to the area of where she was when I left, and she wasn't there.
No.
And I'm looking, I kind of look around all the women's clothing, and I'm like, oh my. So then I started to panic. I started to freak out. And this scared nervousness. I'm like, all these people are strangers. I'm alone. Where's my mama? That's how I feel. I feel like that little girl, and I'm like, I'm terrified. And where is she? I know where she is, but I feel like that's who I feel. I feel like a little girl. And I'm trying to deal with that and how to relate that with my friendships and relationships. As I've been dealing with this grief, I have not been available as I usually am. I'm like, hey, what you need? I'm there. Let's go
Yeah.
out. Let's kick it. Let's do this. I don't feel like it takes a lot to get the energy to go out and kick it and hang out or be around a lot of people with a lot of energy. Because you and I, we feel that. We feel if you step into a room and there's all these different personalities and energies, for me, that can drain me after a while.
Yep.
And I got to recharge my batteries in solitude.
Yeah, introvert.
And so introverted, extrovert. It's weird because I like people, but it's like, all right, I got a limit. I got a limit. I got to come back. And so I've had to have conversations with some of my friends locally. Like, I know I haven't been showing up to the kick it night or to dinner or what. It just wasn't a good day. It hasn't been a good day. I'm getting better, but I just had to say I'm not the same person, and I'm trying to figure it out. I just need you to bear with me. And so far, my crew, everybody has been understanding. They'll still invite, and they know like she ain't coming. She ain't coming. She ain't gonna come. We'll still invite her. They'll still send a text, so they're like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to the club. I'm not doing that anymore." So I'm trying to figure that part out, and I had to figure out the language to articulate that because I didn't understand what I was going through. I'm like, oh,
that's the thing.
It's me. I'm different.
That's the thing.
They the same.
I think that in maturity, what we have to understand and what people like us have to be able to do is to be able to be self-aware enough to, like you just said, I was in grief, in heavy grief. Sometimes people just go, they just bounce. They don't say anything, ever. And so sometimes I think the only thing you can do is to just be self-aware enough to be able to express that, even if it don't come out right. But we got to be able to look at ourselves and see, okay, the part of this that's me, I can own that, and I can be forthcoming with that when we do, encounter each other again, or even for, because a lot of people are your friends, and you just need to catch up every so often. They're not even expecting to like hear from you every day or every week even, so it's not even all that. But I think that even if we don't know how to explain it, we need to be able to at least know for ourselves, like, okay, a piece of this is not even for a bad reason, but it's like, clearly, girl, you grieving. So of course you're going to be, instead of trying to pretend like everything's still the same, I'm still the same, our relationship is no. It's actually a whole new relationship. I'm a whole different person. It's a different dynamic. Then on the other side, you gotta be able to seek out at least at this point, mature or friendships with more mature people who are able to also hold both things. And when I say hold both, it's not even like having to do, I don't think, too much, but especially the older we get, you got to understand, like you said, your bestie became a mom and you were aware this is going to change the dynamic of things. So either I want it to continue or I don't. Maybe I don't want this new dynamic. But if I do want this person in my life, then we have to both understand this is a different dynamic and we got to come together differently than we did before. And then honestly, throughout life, that may happen several different times. That means then have to surround yourself with people that understand that, even if they haven't gone through those things yet. Because, I've got several people close to me that just be like, I don't know how you standing. I don't know how you doing XYZ. Like, and that's the extent of, they don't pull away. They just be like, I don't know how you did that or how you are doing this. And maybe even be like, I don't even know what to say to you. And it's like, can we just all just be transparent about this and not sit here and assuming that our relationship is going to be the same like they was in high school and I think that's what gets people. Or maybe it's just when they realize that, they're just like, you know what? I actually want to fight for this. And that's a real thing too.
That's real.
That's real.
That's real.
So it's just like,
because it's work.
All of this is work. So it's just like, but at least don't lie to yourself about it. You know what I mean? On both sides. Everybody needs to just be clear. It starts with being clear with yourself. And then hopefully the people that surround you are able to be clear with you too. Because even, like I said, dynamics of relationships can change. Maybe y'all not even best friends right now. Maybe you used to be, and maybe you're not right now, but you're still good. You can still catch up, once a year or whatever the case. Nothing ever has to stay the same. I think people be fighting for stuff to stay the same, and it creates some hostility. I think even some tension, but it's like, I don't think life was meant to be that. That just might be my thoughts on the matter. But I did want to say this to you. Somebody told me,
Sure.
and if this is BS, then disregard. But I remember when mommy died, and actually one of my brother's friends, his mom had passed already. And they came to the funeral and he was like, it gets harder every day and it gets easier every day. He was like, both things happen every single day. And I took that and I was like, that feels right. And so I was like, okay, so why does that feel right for me? Okay, it gets harder every day. Like, I'm never going to speak to her again in this life. Okay, I'm not going to hear her voice again. Although randomly, sidebar, when we had that dream conversation, I forgot to tell you that I did have a dream where, okay, I'm going on a tangent. I'm not trying to go on a tangent. I disregard that for right now. Disregard it.
Shonda on a tangent.
Yeah, we need a theme song.
Make it theme song for every time you think off. You should go.
I love
it. Bring it back, friend. Come on. Just bringing in the fishing reel. Come on. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Clip that up. But no, it gets harder every day because I'm never going to hear her voice again. She won't be here again. But then also it gets easier every day because time does change things. You're a year in, right? And I am 11 years in. There's a difference now from where I sit versus where you sit with it. And that's simply just because of the time. It's simply because of time, right? All these different dynamics. And I'm not saying it's better or worse because, again, it gets easier every day, but it also gets harder every day. Our body has to hold both. And that's the thing. And I was just thinking of that when you were speaking about, how you're feeling, and I'm not even saying, I think it's different. It absolutely is different for everybody. But he told me that and it resonated with me, and probably for different reasons than it may resonate with you or anyone else out there. So I did want to tell you that. But let me ask you this.
Oh,
Are
that's
your
real.
friends, are they like
Mhm.
you at all?
No. No. How many of me do you know, Shaun?
Okay, now wait, now what?
And that's not boast. I'm not being boastful, but you know me. I'm the mama of the group.
Yes.
I'm calm. I'm
Yes.
always pretty even keeled, balanced. I'm gonna turn up, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm looking at the exits. I know that we can get it. We're gonna be safe when
Exactly.
you with me.
Exactly.
I I'm not. I'm just different. One of my friends in the friend group,
Mm.
she calls me Angel.
Mm.
I just I try to treat people right.
Angel.
I'm not perfect by no
Mm.
means, but just I try to treat people right. So no, and I like that. Um, Even with my best friend, we are very, very similar, but so different at the same time.
Mhm.
And that's wonderful. Um, so
Mm.
but I have different groups. This is what I'm saying. I have different groups
Yeah.
of people in my life and connections that fulfill different needs,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But only about, like I said, maybe 3 or 4 really know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I asked because my like three best friends, like we are so different.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, but it's also funny because like they're very practical people, very logical people, more so like you, like
Me,
very
yes.
yes. And meanwhile, I'm over here like
La
loosey
la 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 la
goosey, like
la la la
la
la.
la la, like extra,
I love it.
bouncy and I think we're all creative, but in different ways, right? And so I'm
Yeah.
like the artsy fartsy one. These ladies are so far removed from how I am, but it's funny because I get to show up and be myself and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
wholly accepted. I get on the phone and I'm going off of it. They're like, well, let me go get my bag, let me get my purse, let me pull up to
Yeah.
it's like they're nothing like me, but also completely and fully accepting of me. And I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that because like we were saying before, people will send me stuff for like screenwriting and stuff like that. It's like this is not even in their wheelhouse. It's not even stuff that they follow along. But it's like, nope. Shauna says she's going to Hollywood, so Shauna going to Hollywood. So let me figure out what I need to do to help. And these Hollywood people, okay, they think it all,
Yeah.
but they're like, but Shonda is. So I'm gonna support my friend. So if I call talking, like, I'm gonna try to do XYZ. I'm manifesting meeting Oprah and I'm manifesting doing all these things. And they're like, okay, girl, well, yes, do it. And do they
Yep.
be over there
Let's
manifesting shit?
manifest
No,
together.
they don't. But for me, you know what I'm saying? And it's just so funny to me how like how did I get accepted in like this room full of people that are so far removed from me.
Because
When
there's
people
something
accept
in
you,
you, all your
um,
quirks, flaws and all.
yes,
Shout out to Beyonce.
yeah,
Um, that's it's acceptance. So yeah, there's
yes.
some things about my friends totally, completely. Oh, my one friend, she likes to go to the airport if the
You
flight
got
is at 8.
your head being in your
She
hands
she
right
likes
now. It's sending
to
me.
oh my God, 'cause 8 o'clock flight. She likes to, oh, I'll get there at 7:30.
Oh my god.
What?
Does she got
And
pre-check?
she's
Baby,
missed
she got
flights
pre-check.
before.
Oh,
Yet still, she's been. I'm not gonna say your name, friend. I'm not gonna. She knows. We
okay.
talk about this all the time. I'm like, you are killing me right now. What time is your flight? Meanwhile, flight's at 8 o'clock. I would
Mhm.
I would rather be at the gate, read my book, listen to music, as opposed to rushing and waiting to the last minute to do
Yeah,
things. So
yeah,
yes, a lot of my friends are we have a lot of differences, but the beauty of what brings us together is that's the glue.
yeah.
And what always talk to her about, and I'm grateful, and I wonder if you and your friends talk about it too. some people don't have friends, like not even one person. There's some people who don't have, and it's not about having groups. You don't have to have a group, but
Right.
I would think as a woman outside of your partner, I think that woman friendship is powerful and you need at least one. And if I hear a woman say, "Oh, I don't do women, I don't have girlfriends, I don't do that," because I'm looking at you sideways and I'm going to
I
step
was
back
I was
because,
just gonna say,
it, come on. And it's not about having a whole bunch, but you don't have one person or you fall out with everybody you meet.
mm, I think that I don't know. It could always be their prior experience. Sure, maybe things happen to them, but I do think
Sure.
it is a storyline that women don't get along and women are always gonna backstab each other or can't trust each other or one of your friends is gonna try to sleep with your man. All this weird stuff that it's like, yeah, maybe in high school, maybe people, again, kids being kids are going through that, but it's like in your 40s. Like I remember it was a thing where cuz like I said, our friend group is all from high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
So, even in our late 20s, and we would like run into people from high school and they would be like, "Oh, y'all are still friends?" And it's like, "Yeah, is it
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
to still be friends with people from high school?" Apparently it is. Because they're at
Apparently
it,
it is.
and we like, but we don't those issues, everybody's a human, but we haven't had those issues that y'all are talking about. You know what I mean? So it is a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and people, it may be a conditioning thing too. Some people might be even conditioned to think that way, and the bad thing about it is, then they're just going to be reliving that cycle. They're actually going to be making that cycle come true in their lives because they won't be able to hold friendships together. And
Exactly.
then if they have children, they might teach that to their children. And can we all just be,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Can we just be fair and honest? Can we just at least start with ourselves here? If we can be honest with ourselves, then we can be honest with the next person about what we're going through, not going through, what this friendship could look like, could not look like. And yeah, take it or leave it. Communication is really what it's about. But
Communication.
if you're thinking that way, you're not even gonna get to the point where you'll be able to communicate with the next person. And then if you meet somebody that you want to be friends with, it might feel like weird and even too good to be true. All these things. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that they do happen, but I also know they happen on TV and they happen on reality shows. Like everything is not Real Housewives, right? Everything is not Love and Hip Hop,
No.
ATL.
Oh
It's people
gosh.
out here with real friendship who can, even if y'all have an argument or whatever, y'all and they come back together later at some point. Like that's real life. This other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I just think people be taking this stuff and making it real life, and now you're in the cycle, and now you're perpetuating the cycle, and now it's you.
Yeah.
Now it's you.
Yeah. That friendship is real. And I wish we could play Wait to Excel. Count on me, Whitney and Cece. That's the
Can
friendship. Go
we
ahead.
do thick and thin? Our friendship
Get it.
I will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong. Helping
Happy
you. Stacy.
young.
Yes, go,
Call
go.
on me, I will be there. Don't
Don't
be
be
afraid.
afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Please
was a soundtrack
believe
right
me
there.
when I say, to this day, you can count on me. Count on. Yeah,
Every episode, we end up
I'm a listen.
singing some
I
song,
know.
and
Because
they
where the
probably be
music
like, "Let's
at?
turn this down,"
You're like, okay, there they go. There they go.
and
Singing
done.
again. I cannot do it. It's just where
That
music
was
is.
good
It's
though.
just how we
Yeah, that was
we
good.
bond. But shout out to our friends, our friend group. Thank you for the
Yes.
support. I know for sure our friends have been hitting us up and listening, and so we thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
And, and
Crying,
I
all kind
pray
of
for
stuff.
all kinds of stuff. My goodness. I pray for those who are looking for true friendship and looking for someone. I hope you that you're open and that you trust yourself in choosing the right person, and like don't put so much pressure on it. I'll just start with a lunch. Hey, let's go to lunch. Let's just talk.
Mm,
You might have some things in common. You don't have to spill all your beans.
mm.
But if you can find something in common with someone and work from there, just to have somebody that you can talk to. I wish that for you, because I having girlfriends in your life is priceless. It's truly, truly priceless. And I thank my mother for that gift of being an example of what it means to be a good friend, a good girlfriend.
Exactly. And so I pray that if you have someone in your life or had someone in your life that maybe you're not close like you used to be, and maybe you want to be, or maybe you want to go back and clear the air. Maybe you just desire a friendship that exists on a different dynamic than before. Maybe that's something you could do. Maybe you couldn't hold on to the pressure or whatever from before, but maybe you could have something, a little different now. If there's somebody that you keep thinking about that you don't have in your life anymore, or that you would want to reach out to, if that has been on your mind, this is your sign to just reach out
Ooh,
and
that's
be
good.
transparent. And if you desire them in your life, this life is short. They say we only live once. You may or may not agree with that. But we here to say, after you go through all this kind of stuff, and if you get to the point like we're to the point where you're losing parents and that foundation is broken, you can have another stable foundation in your friendship. Your friendships don't got to be the reality show type friendship, right?
No.
But if
Uh,
you can't hold up maybe the way y'all used to be friends, or maybe if you need a change in dynamic, just the dynamics do change. That is a normal and natural thing. If somebody's been in your mind, reach out to them. This is your sign.
That's
Get you some
good.
good girlfriends. You know how I feel about
That's
good
good,
girlfriends.
Shaun. I know. Reach out, and you never know. Shout out. Yes, that is
Yeah, man.
excellent.
All right, P.
We
How can they
thank you
reach you?
as always at Better3701 on Instagram.
And I am at Hey Shaun the Head on Instagram and Thread. You can also follow the podcast on the Everything Has Changed podcast on Instagram.
Thank you
Um,
all.
See you next week. Bye.
Want to stay locked in with us so you never miss an episode? Visit everythinhaschangedpodcast.com and join our email list. That way you'll be the first to know about new episodes and all the fun stuff we have coming your way. Meet us over there.